Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Art Jam. Today we'll be learning about tint, saturation and shade through a series of color experiments. Saturation is the intensity of color. The more saturated the color, the darker and more intense it is. In this experiment, we are creating different saturation of blue by adding different amount of blue dye into the different test tubes. As you can see, the tube with more dye has a darker and more intense blue. To decrease the saturation of a color, just dilute it with water. The next experiment plays with tint. Tint is created when white is added to a color. As you may observe, tint is opaque as white is added, whereas in saturation, the color is diluted by water and is translucent. Next, we have shade. Shade is created when we add black to a color. The more black we add, the darker the shade. So there you have it, saturation, tint, and shade. Now you have learned 3 ways of creating different tones from the same color. Now, to apply this to art, we are going to do a painting activity. The materials you will need are a color experiment worksheet, a cup of water, a palette with the choice of your color, as well as some black and white paint, and last but not least, a cloth. To start off, paint the first box with the original color under the column Tint. As you move down the column, add more white to the original color, mix, and apply. As you add the layers of white, this will create a gradation from the original color to a very light tint at the end. Once you're done with the tint, clean up the palette with a cloth, leaving only the original color and black. Wash your cloth as well as the brush and change the water in your cup. Make sure the cloth is squeezed dry to avoid dripping water all over the place. We'll be painting the column under saturation. This time round, after applying the original color in the first column, just add some water to dilute the paint as you move down the row. Again, clean your plate, wash your cloth and replace your water. Last but not least, we have shade. Similarly, we start off with the original color in the first column, but as we move down, we'll be adding more black to create darker shades. Be careful not to add too much black at one go, as black is a very strong tone. Just add a little bit at a time to create a smooth gradation. When you are done, remember to write down your name, class, and index number. Wash the plates, cups and brushes and place them where they belong. Your completed worksheet should look something like this. To summarize, in art, white and black are not considered colors, but are viewed as light and darkness. Tint is created when white is added, and shade is created when black is added. Saturation is the intensity of a color and can be diluted when a solvent such as water is added. That's it for today's episode. Hope you have learned something about tint, saturation, and shades. See you soon!